what can happen, because magic happens when you have a room full of excited people. I see it all the time. Hope that answers the question. Next question.
Good evening, Dr. Misner. For growth in BNI, visitors is always the most important part.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
For the growth of BNI chapters, visitor is often the most important part. But when I see members, when I speak with them, I often find them struggling with inviting the visitors. And it's generally because they are trying to sell BNI.
Give me your question.
Okay. So the question is, in your opinion, what is the best way to engage and invite a visitor?
Okay, that's a great question. So here's my recommendation. There are many ways to invite people into the organization. If one is working for you, go with that. But this is what I recommend. I recommend that you use, and I know Brian Benson, my social media coordinator, is putting up links to many of the answers that I'm giving. And I know he's going to put this one up because it's a really important one. I have a podcast on it. And it's a technique that I call the we're interviewing technique. We are interviewing. I think it's the absolute best technique to use in building a chapter. And it goes like this. I'm in a referral organization. We get together on a regular basis, and we're interviewing people in that profession, your profession. We're interviewing people in your profession to give them all the referrals that we have. I think you might make a good candidate. That's my recommendation. I'm in a referral organization. We get together on a regular basis. We pass a lot of referrals. We're looking for someone in your profession. I think you might make a good candidate. Now, what generally happens is that people beg people to come to a BNI meeting. Instead of taking this approach, they beg them to come to a BNI meeting. I am in this networking group. Oh, it's fantastic. We meet every week, and it's at 7 a.m. I know that's really early, but it's a fantastic group. You got to come. I know it's a big commitment. You got to be there every week. You have to do all these one-to-ones. But you really, would you come? I'll bring you. I'll pick you up on the corner of 3rd and Main. I'll drive you to the meeting. Would you please come to? And so you start begging people to come to BNI. Don't beg people to come to BNI. You're doing them a favor. You're doing them the favor to come to BNI. They're not doing you the favor to come. You're helping them. And so what I love about the we're interviewing process is it flips that on its head. Rather than trying to talk someone into coming. And I love it because then they start talking about all the things that are reasons not to come. It's early in the morning, it's every week, you have to make a big commitment. Rather than give them all that stuff, you're simply saying, we're interviewing. We want to find somebody we can give all our business to. You're an interesting candidate. I think you would make a good candidate. What's the unsaid message? The unsaid message is, we might not pick you. Don't say that, but they'll get it. We might not pick you. Entrepreneurs hate not being picked. Entrepreneurs want to be picked. And so they get it that if they're not there, their competition might come. I have even done this. You got to do it tactfully. But sometimes people say, well, I've heard about BNI. It's a regular thing. I don't have the time to come to it. I've said to some people, hey, I know, it's okay. You're right, it's a big commitment. Can you recommend a really good person in your profession that I could give all of my referrals to and have them come to the group? You want to see somebody get motivated really quick? Oh, hallelujah, yes, I will come. Or what happens more often is they'll say, well, I can't make it, but I've got somebody in my office who I think would be a great candidate. And you can say, wow, I'm happy to interview them. Then when they come to BNI, interview them. Don't just say you're going to interview them, interview them. And I have another podcast where I have a series of questions that you can ask somebody when they've applied or have attended a BNI meeting and they're interested in joining. And so you interview them. It's a simple set of interview questions. Never use all of them. There's too many questions. And remember, it's an interview, not an interrogation. You just want to get some feedback and see if they'd be a good fit. But that's the way I'd recommend it. We're interviewing. Magic happens when people think that their competitor might possibly join, and that's a great technique. All right, from Facebook Live, what do we have, Daniel?
Cassandra asks, after 35 years, what still motivates you to remain actively involved in BNI?
Well, listen, I love the stories that I hear about BNI from the members. I've heard so many today where people have told me that BNI has changed their life, it's changed their profession, that they're in business today because of the organization. How can you not stay motivated with that? That is just so incredibly amazing to me, the impact that the organization has had on people. And so I'm very motivated by that. I also think that if you're doing something long enough, if you do a business for a long period of time, it's important that you kind of reinvent yourself. If you do something for 35 years, some things kind of get old. And so it's important to reinvent yourself. I've gone about reinventing myself over the last few years. I think if you're an entrepreneur, you have to be working in your flame and not in your wax. You have to be working in your flame and not in your wax. When somebody's working in their flame, they're on fire, they're excited, they're passionate about what they're doing. You can hear it in their voice, you can see it in the way they act. When they're working in their wax, they're just tired. It's taking all their energy away. You can hear that in their voice, and you can see that in the way they act. And so what you have to do is find your flame. And what I've done in the last 35 years is reinvent myself to make sure that I am in my flame. Today, most of what I do is this. This is my flame. I love doing Facebook Live. I love doing an Ask the Founder. I love speaking. I love talking to members. I love pouring into members and directors to teach them how they can build their business through referrals. I like writing books. I love doing the media. These are the things that I enjoy doing. I'm basically Colonel Sanders today for BNI. So that's what I do. That's what I love to do. And it's easy to stay motivated when you see the impact that the organization has had on so many people. Great question, Facebook Live. Thank you very much. Next question from the audience. Yeah.
Thilo from Germany. I think networking is not enough taught in schools and university. How would you explain networking to my 12-year-old daughter? And what could we do together to bring networking, teaching lessons into schools and universities?
Love the question. Love the question. So I've been asked, how do you teach young people about networking? And I think the way you teach young people about networking is it's about making new friends and helping them. I mean, isn't that kind of what we're doing? We're making friends, building a relationship, and we help them out. That's really what networking is about. I mean, there's other ways to network. You can do knowledge networking where you're sharing ideas and information. But what we do is we make friends, build relationships, and we help them out. And I think that's the way you describe it to a young person. But I think what I would recommend is that if you have somebody that this really resonates with, a young person, have the chapter do bring your child to BNI Day. I've seen chapters that have brought young people to a BNI chapter, so that they can see what it is that mom and dad are doing. I think that's fantastic. Business Voices, you're waving. Somebody get my wife the microphone.
Something very exciting that we're doing in the BNI Foundation is we are taking BNI to the school, and we're doing career day or a job fair type thing at the school and doing a demonstration of what BNI is. And we're working with other educational organizations that are teaching the principles of networking to school children. I don't want to wait until it's being taught in the university.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
With our movement, with the business voices, and the more BNI is being seen by the school children, the more they're going to be learning this thing. So if you want to know more about how to teach kids about networking and BNI, come to the BNI Foundation roundtables, and we'll share with you what we're already doing, and you may have even better ideas, and we want to hear them.
The Business Voices Project has done some amazing things. One of the incredible things they did was a vocation day with a school. And they came in, and of course, BNI had all the vocations. I think there was one or two other vocations. Everyone else in this school's vocation day was from BNI. And one of the people, and he might even be here at the convention, I haven't seen him, Mike Macedonio, he had this great answer. He was speaking to a bunch of kids about what it's like to be an entrepreneur. Now, these were 10-year-olds. They can't even spell entrepreneur. And he had to explain what it was to be an entrepreneur. So this is what he told them. He said, you know the coolest thing about being an entrepreneur? He said, no, what? You have no boss. They're like, whoa, really? You have a job where you have no boss? No boss. You're the entrepreneur. You're the boss. They're like, how do you become one? That's powerful. That's just incredible. And it's that kind of thing the Business Voices can certainly do around the world. So talk to people at the BNI Foundation. Great question. Thank you. I think we have Facebook Live next, yeah? Do we have another question?
If I'm participating in a one-to-one and it goes sideways, what can we do to redirect and salvage the conversation?
Well, the devil is always in the details. So the question is, to me, how does it go sideways? What went wrong? So I'm not sure I can answer that specifically because it sounds to me like this person's had an experience that didn't go well. So let me give you something to do before you do the one-to-one. And so my advice to the person who asked that question is prepare before you go into the one-to-one. And here's how you prepare for it. I would go to a one-to-one and I would say we've blocked off an hour for the one-to-one. I'd also recommend you use the gains exchange, which is a form that we have in BNI where you talk about your goals, your accomplishments, your interests, your networks, your skills. That gives a framework for the discussion. But don't stop with that. What you do is you say, we have an hour to do the goals, accomplishments, interests, networks, and skills. Let's have you go first, and you have the first 30 minutes. And at 30 minutes, wherever you are, then we'll flip over to me, and then I'll do the next 30 minutes. Are you okay with that? And so laying the groundwork for how a one-to-one takes place helps to determine or help determine that it doesn't go sideways, that it doesn't go badly. So I'd recommend that. I'd also recommend that you take a look, and Brian, maybe you can find the podcast with the young lady that I interviewed from Italy. I think her name was Beatrice, where she did a thesis with BNI and one-to-ones, and it was unbelievable. That people that did no one-to-ones and how many referrals they did, and people who did one-to-one a month and how many referrals they did, and people who did two one-to-ones a month, how many referrals they did, and then people who did 4 or more and how many referrals they gave and received. They were almost identical. And there was a direct correlation between doing one-to-ones and generating referrals for others and for themselves. Direct correlation. I'd urge you to take a look at that podcast, because if anyone ever says, why should I do a one-to-one? They take up time, you have them read that, because that's the reason. Would you like to? I think they tripled or quadrupled their referrals. It was dramatically higher. Would you like to have 3 or 4 times more referrals? Well, yeah, that's why you do one-to-ones. Great question. Another question from the audience.
Yes. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Dante. I come from Spain, and I belong to the Global Power team. And my question is related to the growth of the local chapters that are now with the need of international reach. What's your vision about the international reach of this local need?
Yeah.
How is that going to evolve?
It's a great question, and that's always been my vision for BNI Connect, is to be able to make it a global operation. It's one of the reasons why we talk about local business global network, that trademark for BNI. So here was the plan, and here is the plan. The plan was that we would release BNI Connect and that it would be used within a chapter, one chapter, and that over